Today I have the keys to the 2020 Ford Expedition Platinum. Huge thanks to Mooresville Ford for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely check out their website. That will be in the description below. As you can tell, this one is finished off in black metallic. It has an MSRP just over $80,000. We're going to get into today's review by going up underneath the hood, where you'll find the 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 engine. This is paired to the 10-speed transmission. It pumps out 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. This is primarily rear-wheel drive. This model has the optional four-wheel drive system. It weighs in around 5,700 pounds, and it also has a fuel capacity at around 28 gallons. You can expect to see around 17 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 131.6 inches. Its overall length is 221.9. It has a width of 93.4 and a height of 76.2 inches. With all those specifications out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the exterior walk around, and we'll start up front with the grille. For the size of this vehicle, this is a massive grille, but I think it blends very nicely. You can see all the chrome that runs throughout it, along with a really nice pattern in the mesh behind it. My favorite part is the fact that it actually protrudes into the headlight housing. So you'll see the LED headlights with the turn signal separated by the chrome trim from the grille. I think that's a very nice design. I like the stacked feature too with the headlights and the high beams, and overall it just blends very nicely. You can see the turn signal right in the middle here. It's just a really nice design how they've integrated that all together. Right in the center we have the Ford logo with a camera just underneath that. You can see there's more slats in the front bumper as we move down just to help provide more airflow. There's a tow hook on each side along with parking sensors, and there's an air dam down below which will help improve with better aerodynamics. On both sides you'll see the fog lights along with more chrome trim. And then making our way to the hood, it has a really nice design with all the lines that flow down it nicely. So I think it's a great looking front end for the Expedition. As we make our way to the side now, you'll see the optional 22-inch wheels. They have a really nice 7-spoke design to them. I like the finish as well, which matches everything else on the Platinum model. You can see Platinum is down on the lower section of the door, and then making our way to the power folding side mirrors. They're finished off in chrome on the top section and have the camera underneath as part of the My Co-Pilot feature, which I'll show later in this video as well. They just have a really nice design to them. You can see up top this has a full panoramic sunroof, and then we have nice chrome trim running down the lower windows. It matches well with the chrome running down the power folding side steps. You'll see there's also more chrome on the door handles, and it just has a really nice side profile. It is a long SUV. It has really nice contoured lines that help kind of divide that just a little bit. And then as we make our way to the rear end of the Expedition, you'll see the integrated spoiler up top with the third brake light. This has LED taillights with a really nice chrome trim piece running through the middle of the power liftgate. You can see Expedition on that, along with the backup camera and the parking sensors running just up underneath. There's also a nice brushed trim piece in the lower section of the bumper, and this has a towing capacity up to 6,300 pounds. Before we go ahead and hop inside the Expedition Platinum, I'm going to go ahead and double tap on the lock button along with the button just up underneath that. This has remote start. It works very easily and very quickly, as you just heard, and you can also double tap on this to shut it off as well, which is a really nice feature to have. Checking out the inside of the door panel now, you'll see there's leather on the top here with really nice brown stitching. We have an intricate pattern with black stitching just behind that. There's chrome trim on the outer armrest there, along with the release handle that's nicely hidden on the inside, so that's a very cool ergonomical design. Of course, we have all of the window controls and the power mirror adjustments, along with the memory seating adjustments as well. This has a 12-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, and you can see the lower section of the door runs the entire length of the door panel, so you have a ton of storage space. As we make our way to the door sill, you'll see Platinum badge is nicely spelled out. And then working our way up into these seats, they're completely covered in leather. I really like the design of them. They're heated and ventilated. They have a multiple way power adjustability to them, and they're very comfortable. And then as we look at the steering wheel, it's completely covered in black leather with more of that stitching running on the inside. You have a dark brushed finish trim piece on the lower section of it, just giving it a really nice design. And then looking at the right side of the steering wheel, there's volume and tuning for the radio along with your voice commands and Bluetooth. On the left side is all the cruise control settings, and then you have some controls for the digital screen right in the gauge cluster. You can see on the left side is the tach, the right side is your miles per hour, and then right in the center we have a digital screen that has a ton of information. So right now we are on My View. You can see your trip one, your fuel economy, your off-road status, along with configuring different screen setups. We can go over to your trip and fuel, and you can look at a lot more information. Then we can go over to vehicle information. You can check your TPMS, your digital speedometer, engine information, and even monitor your seat belts. You have a towing page, so you can view everything there when you have something hooked up, along with your off-road status. And you can see the degrees there will change when I turn the steering wheel, so you can easily monitor when the wheels are pointing straight. And then the last one is settings, so you can look at your pre-collision, your cruise control, you have advanced settings that you can go into. And then above that, you can see the fuel gauge along with the engine temperature and some other vitals. As we look at the left side of the steering wheel, you have your electronic parking brake, along with being able to move the pedals. So you can move those closer or farther away, depending on your height. We have all the headlight controls and fog light controls, along with being able to fold down the third row headrest and open up the power liftgate. There's one air vent. You can see more leather and stitching covers the entire dash. There's a little bit of a compartment up in the center, and then right in the middle we have the touchscreen navigation. You'll see at the bottom is all of the presets basically. So on the left side we have audio. You can go into climate just next to that. This does have a dual zone climate control, so you can easily adjust driver and passenger side or have them synced as they are right now. We have the fan speed right in the middle here, along with where you'd like the air to go, some other recirc buttons, and you can also control the rear temperature as well, just by going into that gauge. We have the phone right next to that, along with navigation, so you can see that in full screen. Some other apps to go into, and then settings to the far right. So you can look at your clock, your Bluetooth, your phone, along with your voice controls and going into the seat. So if you just click on that, you have driver and passenger. You can easily adjust these. You can turn on the massaging feature as well. And then just by clicking the home button on the top left, it brings you to this screen here where you can easily view the navigation, your phone when that is paired, and the radio on the top right. Then there's also a row of buttons on the top of the screen. We have a downhill assist control, turning on and off traction control, the hazards. You have the lane keeping assist that you can easily monitor, along with the engine start stop feature. And then just by pushing on the camera button, we can bring up the 360-degree camera view. Pushing on this camera button again, you can scroll through a couple different forward-facing angles. You can see the full screen and then the split screen. If I put the vehicle into reverse now and then click on that again, we can see the full screen, and then you have a split screen for the rear camera. On each side of that screen, you can see there's more air vents. On the left side, we have the trailer backup system. So when you are towing, you can easily use that, and it will help in being able to put the vehicle in reverse with a trailer. You have the trailer braking system along with the engine start stop button. On the right side, we have a 12 volt. And then right in the center here, we have some more presets. You have your volume and power for the radio, along with tuning. And then underneath that, we have even more physical buttons for the dual AC. So you can see driver and passenger. It will adjust the temperature on the upper screen as well, along with the heated and ventilated seats. Fan speed is right in the center. So it's very nice that you have all of those controls readily available if you're not in the climates on the screen up top. As we make our way down below here, you'll see there's a wireless charging port along with a USB and USB port. We can close that up and it reveals a nice wood trim piece. So that's very nice to see on this compartment. Moving behind that, you'll see two cup holders on the right side. We can easily hide those. And then on the left side, we have the gear selector up front. It has a nice dial to it with the manual button right in the center. You can push on that to use the plus and minus behind it. With my foot on the brake, I'll go ahead and pop it into reverse, and we'll go back to that view that we just saw. You can go all the way over into drive, and then right behind that, we have some different driving modes. You can see two-wheel drive high, you have 4 high, 4 low, along with being able to lock the rear differential. And by using that dial, we can easily toggle between mud and ruts. You have a tow and trailer mode. There's sport mode along with eco. You have normal. There's grass, gravel, and snow. And the last one is sand. So there are plenty different options for you to take this vehicle with the four-wheel drive system. You can turn on and off the parking sensors as well. And then just by pushing on this button in the back, that will allow you to easily parallel park in and out of spots. Looking at the center console now, you can see it's completely covered in leather on the armrest here, along with more stitching. And then opening this up, this reveals a ton of storage. You have plenty of room for anything that you'd like to place here, along with this removable tray, which you can slide forwards and backwards. There's also additional storage space with the two glove boxes. So you have one up top that gives you a little bit of space, and then the normal one down below that has a split style to it, so you can easily fit all of your documents in there. We'll go ahead and take one last look at these seats. And then as I mentioned earlier, this does have a full panoramic sunroof, so you can use these buttons in the center, which I'll show you here soon. And that goes all the way to the second row seating, so you definitely get a lot of light into this vehicle. You can see there's a sunglass holder as well, along with some garage door buttons and the dome lights. And then hopping into the second row seating now, I'm going to start off by talking about the door panel. I really like the attention to detail, same as you saw on the front door panels. There's a little bit of a storage bin here right in front of your window control, and then of course the release handle is just on the inside. It's really nice how it's designed and hidden away so you can't really see it until you're actually going to use it. You have a little bit of space right in the center here, perfect for a phone or something small like that, and then a good amount of room in the lower section of the door. This model has the 7-seat configuration. You can get an 8-seat configuration, so that gives you 3 seats, of course, in the second row here. But in this model, we have the captain's chair, so you have a great armrest on both sides, gives you a lot of room to kind of spread out. These seats do move forwards and backwards, so that gives you a lot more room for third row passengers, as I'll show in a second. You can easily recline these all the way, and there's a ton of space. At 5'10", I have plenty of room. I have the front seat set at my height, and I have a couple inches in front of my head and plenty of room in front of my knees, so it's very roomy in the second row. You also have heated seats for both of these. You have those controls right in the center, along with the climate controls as well, so you can adjust the fan speed, the temperature. You can look at the clock, adjust the volume for the radio. There's also 2 USB ports and a household 3-prong outlet on the right side. A little bit of storage space, and a 12-volt is just underneath that, along with 15 cup holders. That's how many cup holders are running throughout this vehicle here. You have 2 right in the middle, and then you have 1 on each side in the door here for the second row passengers. Now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the third row seating. And at 5'10", I can easily wiggle my way into the back seat here. And I have plenty of room still. You can see the headliner here goes up, so I actually have about 2 or 3 inches above my head and plenty of room for my knees. These seats are all the way back, so that just goes to show how much space you have. And these seats do recline. There's a button here that you can push, and they will automatically go forwards or backwards just by pushing on those buttons, so that's very nice to have these recline just a little bit. You have some storage space along with more cup holders, a USB charger, along with a 12-volt on the back side. And then on the other side, there are 2 cup holders and a USB port along with a little bit of storage. Last up, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the rear storage space. The easiest way to do this, with the key fob on me, I can just kick my foot up underneath and it will automatically open up. So if you have your hands full with groceries, this is an easy way to do it. You'll see there's a good amount of storage space behind the third row. So with the third row up, you have plenty of room to put any items here that you'd like to, and you can even open up the floor here and it reveals some hidden storage space. You have all of your jacks and everything on the right side, and then a little compartment over on the left. You'll see there's a small cubby on the left side, and then just by using these buttons here, I can push this one in the center and it will automatically fold down the third row. You'll see the headrests automatically go down as well, and then that opens it up and gives you a lot of storage space to easily put any items that you'd like to. And you can even control the second row, so you can see the left side is down right now. If I just push on this middle button on the other side, it will easily fold that seat down, so that opens it up even more for plenty more storage space. And then from here you can fold the third row back up just by pushing on the top and the bottom button, and then up top, if I just push on that button, we can easily close it up. You can also open up the top glass. If you don't want to do the lift gate, you can just push on this button here and easily open this up so you can get items in and out without actually having to have the power lift gate go up and down. So that is a cool option to see. Not many SUVs have that anymore. All right, so getting the Expedition Platinum out on the road now. This is a very nice vehicle to be in. I've enjoyed my time with it so far, so huge shout out to Mooresville Ford again. Definitely check out their website because they have a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And it's been quite some time since I've been behind the wheel of an Expedition. My parents actually used to own one years back, and so it's been quite some time, but obviously there's been a lot of changes and a lot of improvements since the time they had theirs. I believe it was like a 2004. So it's nice to be back into the driver's seat. There are a lot of options, a lot of nice features in the Platinum. This is the top of the line model that you can get aside from the Max Platinum, which basically just means it has a little bit longer of a wheelbase, so you're getting a little bit more room behind that third row. We're gonna get it out on the road here. Just give it a little bit of gas for 400 horsepower in a regular mode here. And we're up to the speed limit just like that. It didn't even have to fight to get up to the speed. So for a heavy SUV like this, it definitely doesn't have any issues with being underpowered with 400 horsepower. But let's go ahead and talk about visibility. It's very open. It feels like it's very open on the inside. You can easily see over your left side, and then a glance over your right shoulder. I can easily look out of that back glass. So visibility is really not all that hindered. The pillars are not that bulky, and the fact that you have the My Copilot 360, So Ford's 360 camera system allows you to see in front of the vehicle, behind the vehicle, and then on the sides. So no matter where you are, parking lot situations is a really good spot to use this camera system. But as we jump to the interior materials for the Platinum, you get a lot of leather. There's a lot of really nice trim pieces surrounding everything, more leather and stitching on the door panel. You have the upgraded stereo system, very nice finishes on the speakers as well. So it's a very premium feeling interior, even having the leather on the seats, very nice pattern to them. And then just talking about what it's like to drive, we're gonna see what driving mode I'm in. Normal right now, and it's taking these bumps very well that I've been going over. I have no issues with that. And so from normal, I'll go ahead and put it into sport mode. We'll just give it a little bit of gas. Wow, there's a noticeable difference in the throttle response putting it into sport mode. That's pretty cool. You can hear the exhaust just a little bit. So for the EcoBoost V6, actually sounds really good. And I like the fact too that you have options for 7 people or 8 people. So to transition to your seating configuration, as you can tell already, the captain's chairs is really nice option to have if you want a little bit more room in that second row, or if you want to add a person right in the middle. You still have plenty of space in that third row. At 5'10", I could easily fit back there and be comfortable on long rides. So I like the versatility of having all the space for people and then having all of the space for whatever you want to throw in here. So I put a couple more miles on the Ford Expedition, and I could see this being a really good daily driver if you need this amount of space. If you have a lot of kids, or you're constantly taking kids somewhere, you know, soccer practice or whatever it may be, carpool, things like that, and you need a lot of space, I really like the option of having an SUV like this. Coming around a turn now, with the weight of this SUV, you're gonna feel it a little bit, but going at normal speeds like that, I mean, it took that well. So I don't have any issues with any crazy body roll or anything like that, just going normal speed as I mentioned. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive behind the wheel of the 2020 Ford Expedition Platinum. If you guys wanna see more car reviews, comment down below, do more car reviews. Also, huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this vehicle for me today. Definitely check out their website down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.